For those in the audience getting to know you here for the very first time, care to share where you were born
I'm from Sanford, Florida.
and care to share where you were raised as well,
Sanford, Florida.
and care to share where you reside these days.
I'm currently right now in Sanford, Florida.
Now, when it comes to Sanford for you, does it get any more detailed than that? Like a particular portion of Sanford you're from, you represent, so on and so forth?
Sanford is well known. We the city of Trayvon Martin is where Trayvon Martin had got killed at.
But is there any portion of Sanford that you grew up in or you reside in? Like sometimes people grow up on a certain side of their town or a certain block or a certain this or a certain that.
So I'm from a neighborhood called Canamana. I grew up on Carver Ave. You may be familiar with Jimmy Horn Jr. He just got drafted with the Panthers. We all come from the same block.
And speaking of him, did you have any personal connection to him by any chance?
Yes, that's like my little brother.
Now, let's speak about him for a second before we dive deeper with you. How did that connection between you two initiate?
Jimmy was always just running around the neighborhood, playing sports. He liked to ride his four-wheeler, walk his dog. I was always afraid of his dog. They had a dog named Remy, and I played basketball a lot. So Jimmy had a basketball goal in front of his house. So his dad and his grandma, Miss Lisa, she would let us come in front of the yard and play, and we all just got a connection from just being kids, hanging out.
Do you remember the first time you two met?
No, I can't even remember. I don't even call him Jimmy. I call him Baby J.
And do you know what age or what grade you were at the time when you two first meet?
Jimmy, he way younger than us. I think they had moved to Academy Manor, Manor when I was like, I probably had to be in like the sixth grade.
And for those that have just heard of his name, but never had a chance to meet him, never had a chance to build a relationship with him, what is he really like?
He a natural born go getter, like he say. He ready right now.
And what's the best advice you ever received from him, or most important thing you learned being around him so far?
Always keep a smile on your face, even when it's a rainy day.
And that's something he tells you just for clarification, or that's something you just gathered being around him?
Just being around Jimmy, he has the atmosphere that he always gonna uplift you. He ain't never walking around with his head down. He just the all around stick up kid.
And anything else you want to mention about him before we move on into some further questions here while we're on the subject?
Free his daddy, Big Jimmy. Very, very great father.
Now, let's dig in a little bit further with this portion of Sanford that you were raised in. And that area of Sanford that you mentioned, that neighborhood there, what age range do you think you resided in there for exactly?
My entire life.
Okay. Never moved out.
Well, when I went off to college, yeah. But that's not where I stay at now, but that's where I'm from.
And what age do you think that was about for you when you make that move off to college?
18.
And we'll talk about that a little bit further as well. But let's just talk about this neighborhood in Sanford for you. What was that really like growing up there for you?
It was fun. You're gonna see hood stuff, you're gonna see positive stuff, you're gonna see motivational stuff, kids running around. Nowadays, kids don't run around no more and play on the park. Kids like to stay on the video game or grab a gun or, kids, they not kids how we used to be.
What do you think changed? What do you think the disconnection is there between those days that you remember and those days now?
You ain't got no leaders. Everybody wanna fit in. Nobody don't wanna be themselves.
Now, for you growing up in that neighborhood of Sanford, what was the top point for you during your upbringing there? What was your highest point or most positive moment growing up in that environment for you?
Honestly, just playing basketball. That's the only thing that kept me focused. That's the only thing that kept me striving on getting away and getting out of Sanford and out of Academy Manor.
Now, how far did you get with that sport there?
Uh, I got far. Went to two different colleges, got an associate's degree in criminal justice, got another scholarship, and went and got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and got to play basketball as well.
And these scholarships were all athletic for you.
Yes, all athletic.
And then what about the level of basketball you were on in college? Care to share those details, the names of the schools you played, things of that nature?
So I went JUCO at Ellsworth. I was dropping like 25 a game, and then I transferred and went to Fort Valley State. But at Fort Valley State, my senior year, a brand new head coach had came in, and she kicked me off the team. She wasn't able to like pull my scholarship, but she was able to kick me off the team, and I feel like that's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even be doing the things that I'm doing now.
Now, prior to this kickoff scenario, what position did you play?
Point guard and shooting guard.
And did you have a main jersey number you wore or favorite jersey number you wore, excuse me, so on and so forth?
Number 3, yes.
And was that a number you were given, a number you requested?
Number 3 represents the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So.
And prior to college, did you play in any other organizational leagues and teams and things of that nature, aside from like high school?
When I was younger, I was playing for like recreation, Boys and Girls Club, like YMCA leagues. And then after I graduated from Fort Valley State, I got to do a workout with the WNBA player in Atlanta named Matee Ajavon. And then I also went to a overseas combine camp, but then it just stopped after that.
And what stopped exactly?
I just lost the love for the passion of playing basketball. The love just wasn't there anymore.
Was it because you weren't able to make a certain team or a certain league at that level?
No, it just, sometimes you outgrow things. You just outgrow things.
Now, when it came to this kickoff that happened, that was senior year for you?
Yes, my senior year.
Was there any chance of maybe transferring to another school to play and finish out, or?
Yes, I still have one more year to play, but after I got my bachelor's degree, I just wanted to start my criminal justice career.
Now, prior to ending the basketball dream, did you have the opportunity to play with or compete against anybody that ended up becoming famous themselves?
No.
And any regrets with the final decision of stopping the sport of basketball when you did, looking back on how everything's played out?
No. Not at all.
Anything you wish you would have done different?
I probably could have changed my attitude on different levels. But it's a part of growing and understanding and learning. Once you outgrow things, you can sit back and analyze and say, maybe I could have did this different. Maybe I could have did that different. But I wouldn't change anything what happened in the past, because what happened in the past is helping me in the future of who I am today.
When it comes to growing up in that portion of Sanford for you, aside from basketball, what about the talent of being an author? Did that happen in those days, or was that something after you move out of that neighborhood?
That happened after I moved from the neighborhood. During my senior year, the ending of my senior year is when I started to journal, like my daily tasks, what was going on. Especially once I got kicked off the team, that's when I developed a writing skill. But I never knew, like, my first book, The Living Proof, that it would turn into, my diary would turn into an actual book.
Now, at this point, how many books have you written?
I have 3 books.
Care to share the titles and where those in the audience, getting to know you here for the first time, hearing about this for the first time, can go find them?
So my first book is called The Living Proof. My second book is called Rebirthing Self-Love, Mental Health, and Forgiveness. My third book, which I just released, is called The Obstacles of Life. And you can find all of them on Amazon. And I'm going on my 4th book right now in the process.
Now, prior to the new book you're currently working on, can you share a synopsis on what each of these books are about?
The first book, The Living Proof, it's an autobiography of myself, my life, what I've been through, trials and tribulations of never giving up on your dreams. And just for anybody that's looking for motivational purposes to keep striving in life. My second book, Rebirth in Self Love, Mental Health, and Forgiveness, it's a book for anybody that's soul seeking themselves, trying to find themselves, needing to know what self love is. In that book, I give different urban stories. So it has mental health in there. Um, it's a wife and a husband that's together, and the wife is going through the husband boxers looking for cum stains, saying that he's cheating. But when they go to have sex, she calls out another man's name. My third book, The Obstacles of Life, that book is about a kid that's from the neighborhood that I'm from, Academy Manor, aka Catamount, coming from Carver Ave. He's seeing so much of his mom working overtime. He's a five-star basketball player. He has Duke University, all of the top colleges that you can name. And he get into a shootout one day after practice, being at the wrong place at the wrong time at a dice game. And the person that he kills, his brother, tells him that he's gonna come and kill him. So this kid ends up becoming the biggest drug dealer in Sanford and fighting the biggest cases.
Now, there are some that try their hand at this sort of thing. They just write one book, give it a shot, see what happens, then they stop.
Right.
You kept going. You wrote a second book, a third book, and you're currently working on a fourth. What led this to a career path for you of being an author when for some it's just a hobby?
I fell in love with writing. It's like secondhand nature to me. Like I'm sitting in here with you, but I'm already thinking about what I'm about to go home and write about. It's just secondhand nature. Traveling to other countries, seeing how different people are living, seeing the happiness and the peace that are in people and the abundance that'll come with it is just something that I'm chasing and I'm hungry for it.
Any other memories of those humble beginnings when it came to becoming an author and starting to write and things of that nature, other than what you've said thus far?
Just striving. You gotta just keep grinding. When you want something, you hungry for it, it'll reveal itself to you.
Now, what about the opposite end of the spectrum here when it came to that neighborhood you grew up in, Sanford? What was, excuse me, what was the bottom point for you? Excuse me. What was the bottom point for you during your upbringing in that area? What was your lowest point or most negative moment growing up there? And if it wasn't, well, the whole basketball scenario happened after you had moved out to further your education. But I guess let's backtrack. Yes, if there was a bottom point during your upbringing, care to share what that was? Your lowest point or most negative moment growing up in that neighborhood for you?
I didn't really have a negative point in that neighborhood. Honestly, the only negative point that I had was the situation with the coach. Other than that, everything else was fine.
Now, what about this? Okay. How were you able to survive that upbringing in Sanford? Because there are some who don't make it.
You gotta have a strong mindset. I'm not the type that's gonna go parking lot pimp on a Friday night with everybody. I'm too busy chasing happiness. I'm trying to get somewhere. I don't want to be like everybody else. Not saying that I'm better than everybody else, but the things that everyone else is focused on, who fighting who on social media, I'm trying to make a million. I don't. That's not gonna pay me. Who sleeping with who? That's not gonna pay me. I'm trying to make it somewhere. So the way I view life is different. It speaks like my books. The titles and things that come with my books is it comes into reality. The obstacles of life. It's not just about that kid. It's about the obstacles of things that we are seeing around us as a whole.
Now, there are some people who say things like, don't know if I'll make it to see the age of 18, maybe 21, for example. Did you have any of these thoughts yourself growing up in that neighborhood?
No, never. And a lot of times when people be saying, oh, they don't know if they're gonna make it to 18 or 21, a lot of these people portray to be these thugs or pretend to be something that they not. A lot of people be spoon fed out here, but they try to pretend that they're gangsters, and it ends up turning out wrong for them.
Now, Be that as it may, knowing what you know now, hypothetically speaking here, what would you have said to your younger self back then, if anything?
My younger self, control your temper, listen more, speak less, observe.
Now, I asked you a variety of questions here in regards to your upbringing. Is there anything else you want to say just about that?
Yeah. The only thing that really keep me going right now besides God is my daughter, Bella. Like my 2 year old, she keeps me striving from day to day. Like I go hard for her because I want her to have the things that I didn't have. And I had like everything. Raised in a single parent household, mom made everything work. So I just want to give my child the love and protection that I got coming up.
Now, you mentioned your mom here. What's the current status with you and your father?
Um, I just really built a relationship with my dad. He wasn't around like that when I was growing up. My dad got 8 kids, and out of the 8, he only cherished one. So coming up, I had a lot of resentment towards my father. And I feel like a daughter's first love is supposed to be their father. So sometimes I would act out of character because I wasn't getting the attention from who I needed to get it from. I was getting the attention from my uncles and the man that raised me with my mom, but I wasn't getting it from my actual father.
So, how was this bond able to get built again?
It's building right now. It actually started building once I had my daughter. I was able to release everything, anything that I was upset or angry about. Once I had my child, she put me in another different spiritual realm.
So, do you initiate the bond with your father? Does he try to initiate that? How did that culminate there?
When he wanted to talk to me, I wasn't ready to talk. And you can't force a person to talk when they're not ready to talk. And I used to tell him, like, when I want to talk to you, I'm going to come and talk to you. Just like when I needed you and you weren't there, I needed you and you weren't there. So you got to respect my mind. If I don't want to talk to you right now, I don't want to talk. So when I was finally able to talk and let everything out and release everything, we've been good ever since.
Now, you mentioned God here. Do you follow religion by any chance?
Right now, I believe in a higher power. Um, God, yes. I'm actually studying like Hebrew Israelites right now. So God' real name is Yahweh. Like people pronounce Jesus, but it's his real formal name is Yahweh.
Now, prior to this mindset that you have here in regards to religion and exploration and things of that nature, were you raised to follow religion?
No, I was not.
Were you raised to believe in God?
No, like honestly, like my family them, they don't force church on children. Like they don't force you to go to church. A lot of kids that are in church and the parents them be pastors, like them kids really be wanting to be strippers and hoes. They really be wanting to be out here. But when you God will reveal himself to you. Sometimes you will learn how to pray on your own. You will learn how to fast on your own, and you'll get different signs and different signals of which direction to move. A church is just a building. You can have meetings in church in your house. That's what the slaves used to do. They couldn't always go to the church. You know, they was getting whipped with the Bible being read to you. So it's different. You really gotta 2 Timothy 2:15, you gotta really study thyself approved.
Now, just want to tie up some loose ends on some other elements you mentioned here. Uh, you mentioned that this area, not the neighborhood per se, but Sanford, was where the roots of Trayvon Martin exist. Uh, did you know him prior to his story and those news headlines?
No, no one in Sanford knew Trayvon Martin like that. I think he was just down there for a short period of time with his dad, and a so-called security officer shot him. But he wasn't from Sanford. Like he wasn't raised in Sanford. He was just there, I guess, on vacation with his father.
When these news headlines came out and it's tied to the city and things of that nature are apparent, what were your thoughts back then? What were your thoughts on the whole entire situation now at this point? Things of that nature.
So honestly, When that situation happened, I was just getting off of the school bus or something, and I was seeing like these black people walk around. I'm talking about like with big guns. I think I was like in the 10th or the ninth grade, and I was so amazed because it's like, damn, these people walking around like soldiers. Meanwhile, I had no idea of what a Black Panther was until then. So it was people rioting. It was people doing so much stuff that they was tired. Like they tired of the police brutality. They tired of like in Jacksonville, a kid got killed because he was having the music too loud. It's just like we as a whole, we gotta wake up. Cause the system ain't gonna never break until we break the system. You gotta be able to know yourself and break it. You gotta know your history. If you don't know your history, it's more than just Dr. Martin Luther King. It's more than just Malcolm X. It's more than just those two people. You see how Hitler ran a whole on and on. One man. One. Gotta know your history. And that's what people lack, history, knowledge.
Now, the specific portion in Sanford where this incident took place, were you aware of this area before? Had you been past that area before? Were you familiar with that?
It was a gated community. He wasn't in no trenches. He was in the safest place, but gated. Townhomes.
And have you had the opportunity to go by and look at where that incident transpired and things of that nature since?
I passed by there like on the way to work and stuff.
And what's that feeling like when you pass by and you know what took place there?
Honestly, because I didn't have a relationship with him, it's like it's messed up. But at the end of the day, we as a whole gotta correct the people that's doing this to us. Until the correction is done, there's nothing really you can really say itself. It's going another kid was just killed. Until the cycle is broken. But we gotta wake up.
And when it comes to this new book that you're working on, is there a title for it yet that you'd like to share with the audience? Is there an excerpt you'd like to
Yes.
read from it, perhaps?
So the new book is called Survival of a Mother's Hustle. And I have an introduction. I can read about it. It's about a drug dealer. He meets a stripper. She's a stripper at night, and she's an RN during the day. But he only knows her as a stripper. He doesn't know the other side of her.
Yes, and if you'd like to share that passage, you're more than welcome to.
Of course. All right, you ready? 500-gram Cuban bracelet on his wrist shining hard as he reached for the baking soda. Fire hit the stove, and you could see the glow bouncing off that 500-gram Cuban chain sitting heavy on his neck. Water boiling, pot scraping. You could hear the metal clash when he whipped his wrist with the fork. Beaker bowls everywhere like a science lab turned into a trap house. Shit felt like Christmas, cocaine stacked up in every corner of the kitchen. Flip phones buzzing, iPhone lighting up with FaceTime calls. That's what you call straight drop. The character name is Doughboy, but his real name is Anthony. He just smiled to himself as he worked the dope. 14's going for $275 out here. He mumbled as if he was talking to the dope itself. Hard or soft, it didn't matter. Whatever the streets wanted, Doughboy had on deck. Chickens flying through the city, and he wasn't talking about no Popeye's fried chicken either. Diamonds in his mouth, they danced every time he walked through a room. It was frozen like snow.